I'm Major James Foster. I'm an orthopedic surgeon with the 14th Combat Support Hospital out of Fort Benning, Georgia. Sure. So working here with the Senegalese on this MEDREX, it's been an interesting experience. It's been a good one overall for sure. I'd say this has been it's been an exercise in flexibility and adaptability. You know, the medical professionals here have been impressive to me. They're intelligent, they're skilled, and they have just accepted the environment they work in. It's different than the environment I work in. They have limited resources. They have to vary their techniques and their plans, and they do it well. They do it quickly. They move on from plan A to plan B if it doesn't work. And so I've had to be not rigid. I've had to be flexible in the way I view what they're doing, and sort of see their line of thought. And it's a good exercise for me to improve my practice back home, but it's also important for me to see this kind of stuff before heading down range, you know, where I will operate on problems I'd like to give it one answer, I don't have that answer, so I have to be ready to move on to a second option that's equally acceptable, just not necessarily my plan A. We've done a number of tibial nail for tibia fractures down here. They use a lot less fluoroscopy than we do. You know, they have a fluoroscopy machine. It's not the highest functioning, and it allows them to take spot shots, but we've come to rely so much on technology and the latest and greatest and all that in the U.S. that there's a way I do it. It's vastly different from the way they do it. I've had the opportunity to do it with them a few times here. Minimal fluoroscopy, hanging the leg, incidental reductions, things like that. And the outcome is fine. The outcome's good. It's very acceptable. It's just it's a very different technique than I'm familiar with and I've ever trained with. It's been interesting to see that. An example of changing your plan based on what you have available. We've treated multiple femur fractures in a day here. There's only one reamer set available here, so one gets a nail, the rest get a plate. It could be the same fracture. You treat them the same way in the States. In my practice, I'd give them the same answer every time, but you have to adapt at what's available, what's ready, and that needs to be treated in a certain amount of time more than it needs a certain type of implant, and so you just move on to the next available. I'd like to think so. I think we, more than anything, I hope we've showed them that we're approachable and engaging and willing to help. We're not coming in here trying to force our way, trying to tell them this is wrong, this is how I do it, etc. Offer points here and there. You know, I maybe put this retractor here. The way I do it is I do this, and just being tactful and offering help here and there. I hope that they find some value, and I certainly have. Yeah, I do think so. I think that certainly I'm thinking about my own experience, but also looking around at our medics and our nurses and techs and all that. Everyone's seeing different ways of doing things. Everyone's seeing how you work with what you have and you're efficient about it. And they have, the medical professionals here in Senegal they know what they're trying to do and they get it done with what they have and they're very efficient and I respect it. I've learned a lot from them. I think the whole team has. I'd say that the Principal Hospital, where we operate, from an orthopedic standpoint, operates on the level of probably a level 2 trauma center. They're racking up long bone fractures and there's spine injuries coming in, and there's always a backlog. There's always more work to be done over there, so it's pretty busy. It's probably about a level 2 trauma center. Certainly, both facilities we've been working at, the Senegalese hospitals here, have been very welcoming and open to us getting our hands dirty, if you will, and really just offering procedures up, from the medics doing IV sticks, the nurses doing dressing changes, and the surgeons operating. You know, they want to operate with us, and it's been a little bit surprising to me how willing they have been to let us in. It's kind of not what you come to expect, and if they were to go the other way around, I'm sure we'd be a little more standoffish, but they're very welcoming people, very willing to work with us. It's been great. I've really enjoyed this exercise. It's given me more orthopedic trauma experience than I was led to believe it might. It's been highly worthwhile. Advice to the next guy coming through: be flexible. Don't come in here saying, just comparing everything to exactly how you've done it back in your practice in the States, but be flexible. Look at the ends, not the means. See what they're trying to get to there, and maybe learn a little French before you come.